Today, I'm sharing how keto and intermittent fasting have changed my life for the better. How I went from having PCOS, chronic fatigue, several lung and sinus infections a year, to a better, more energetic, healthier version of myself. I'm hoping that my story will resonate with some of you and will save you the pain and trouble I went through in order to achieve a healthy life. Hi, welcome. My name is Evelyn and I am a keto and intermittent fasting coach. I post content on all things keto, weight loss, and how to optimize your health. If that sounds good to you, please subscribe. Fun fact, I grew up and live in the Greater Montreal area. That's in the province of Quebec, Canada. I am fluent in both English and French. Bonjour à tous les francophones. My interest in health and wellness began for a search to answers to questions to my own health issues. But how did I get there in the first place? I would say I lived a pretty typical North American lifestyle for most of my life. From a pretty early age, I definitely had a sweet tooth, loved my chocolate and ice cream. And growing up, my parents, like most other parents, brought us as a treat to McDonald's once in a while. And we had a beautiful family tradition. Every Friday night was pizza and movie night. When I was in my teenage years, my mom's health got poorly and my dad would work late on Thursday night. So Thursday night was us making dinner for ourselves. So we had craft dinner every Thursday night and we had it every possible way, with ketchup and hot dogs in it, with mayo and mushroom. You name it, we tried it. The tradition of craft dinner every Thursday night and pizza every Friday stayed with me even after I moved out of my parents' place. Actually, even after I got married, we still had pizza night Friday night. During my early 20s, it wasn't rare for me to replace a lunchtime with 2 candy bars. And when I was 21, I spent the entire summer having 1 Oreo McFlurry a day. Anyone else liked Oreo McFlurry, or is it just me? Let me know in the comment below what is your obsession. Man, that was life. Or so I thought. Pretty early in my 20s, I started experiencing a lot of health issues. Actually, when I think about it, it started even before that. I had my first period just before I turned 12 years old, and they had never been regular ever since then. I remember at 16 already having cellulite and going through 3 different sizes of clothes a year because I would go through a vicious cycle of gaining 10 pounds a year, then going on a restrictive calorie diet and losing some of the weight. This vicious cycle happened year after year. And as the year went by, it was harder and harder to lose the weight through restrictive diet. My body wasn't responding to the restrictive calorie diets anymore. I also had been suffering from hypoglycemia, and I had symptoms such as sugar craving, weakness, energy dumps, brain fog. So in my early 20s, I already was suffering from polycystic ovary syndrome, but I just didn't know it. I also suffered from cystic acne and took all the meds you can think of for acne, all the way up to Accutane. Nothing solved the issue. At one point, my cystic pimples were so big that they were as big as ping pong balls. I remember having one clearly on my forehead for over a month. They were painful and they wouldn't go away. So I went to see a dermatologist and she would inject cortisol shots in them to take the pain away and finally the inflammation. I also was put on the birth control pill to try to regulate my period. And finally, after a while, my wonderful gynecologist did diagnose me with PCOS, or polycystic ovary syndrome. I'm curious, how many of you out there are suffering from PCOS, have been diagnosed, or think that you might be? Let me know in the comment below. To that was added chronic fatigue. I would sleep 10 hours a night. Sheer lack of energy sapped me of all the motivation and joy in life. I ended up going to a sleep clinic where I was diagnosed with mild sleep apnea. I ended up buying a CPAP machine to help me breathe better at night. With it, my energy level got better and I was now down to sleeping 8 hours a night. So some improvement. Then came the reoccurring lung and sinus infection. I was on antibiotics 2 to 3 times a year easy. I was sick all the time. My doctors told me I had a low immune system. And when I asked what we could do about it, they said not much. You could try exercising. Sometimes it helped. So I did. I started doing Zumba and aerobics through videos at home. And I noticed that if I exercised enough to break a sweat, I'd had more energy for the rest of the day. So again, a tiny improvement. In my early 30s, I started having more and more digestive issues. I was already intolerant to eggs, avocados, and bananas, but I was starting having more and more problem digesting other foods. I noticed that I would get bloated after pretty much every time I ate, and sad to say, but farting and burping was just part of my life. I also suffered from insomnia frequently. Actually, pretty much every Friday night. And it took me a while to make the connection with the pizza, but there was definitely a connection. It took me another 2 to 3 years to actually accept it and do something about it. I eventually cut the pizza out. I also ended up trying to go vegetarian for a while to see if it would help out. My digestion got so bad at that point that I actually seek the help of a naturopath that had a PhD in nutritional biochemistry. He put me on a 3-month elimination diet where I pretty much only ate sweet potatoes. That's what I remember. But that elimination diet gave a rest to my digestive system and allowed it to heal somewhat. Eventually, we started slowly reintroducing one food at a time and paid attention on how my body reacted to it. This was the first step in realizing that food had been at the core of most of my health issues. So realizing that, I went a little bit more low carb, and it did help with my bloating and digestive issues. Around the same time, my husband turned me on to a book called The Thinsulin Program. This was a light bulb moment for me. It explained the relationship between insulin and sugar. And insulin was also at the core problem of most of my health issues. I knew insulin was linked to PCOS, acne, my sleep apnea, energy levels, hypoglycemia, all those things. So I started cutting down on the sugars, and I was onto something. So I continued doing more research on the subject. And it's about in March of 2016 that I discovered the videos from Dr. Berg. He teaches healthy keto and intermittent fasting and made a clear link with how it heals insulin resistance. I'll put the link to his channel below. Within 2 weeks of doing the ketogenic diet, I enjoyed immediate results. I had a higher energy level, my brain fog was gone, my sugar cravings were gone. I was like a new person. I even lost 10 pounds in 10 weeks without even trying. I was just getting healthy and losing the weight. The results of the keto diet were undeniable, and I'll never look back. My husband, who already had started his weight loss journey through doing juice fasting, when he saw the result, joined me on the keto diet. And through it all, he was able to lose 100 pounds. Since then, I also started implementing other good lifestyle habits, such as exercising and intermittent fasting. I am not completely off all my medication. I had been taking the birth control pill and Endrocure to control the symptoms of my PCOS for over 10 years. And now I'm free from them, and I have regular periods, and my skin's not perfect, but oh my, is it a lot better than it used to be. My weight also stops fluctuating year per year. That vicious cycle is now gone. I haven't changed weight since I started keto. So I got rid of the 3 sizes of pants that I carried in my closet. Didn't need those bigger size anymore. I'm also happy to say that I do not use a CPAP to sleep at night anymore. And I haven't taken any antibiotics since I've been on keto. My energy level and my brain condition have been enabling me to take on projects I would have never been able to dream of before. I am now 40 and I have never felt or looked better. If something resonated with you, please let me know in the comments down below. I am passionate into seeing people transform themselves into a healthier version of themselves to their fullest potential. That led me to become a keto and intermittent fasting coach. To learn more about my coaching program, watch this next video to see how I can help you as a keto coach.